the what? I'm working the D1 what? Extension. Which is opposite the what? Which is opposite the flexor synergy. And they do good with extension because they're in supine. So they're going to do great with this. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes. Now, if the patient has a shoulder sublux, so sometimes when I'm doing this, make sure you get supination up here. Push out. Go, push. Push the whole arm out. Go, go, go. You're pushing from your shoulder. Push from your hand. Go, go, go. Keep going, keep going. Go, go, go. Okay. Patient says, it hurts. My shoulder hurts. Okay? So what do you have to do?
Maybe in the same place it hurts.
Yeah, so what do you have to do? What do you have to do? So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take my hand and I'll push the humerus back into position. And now I only have one hand for it because I have to hold the what? Push open. Go, go. What? I got to hold the humerus in place during the entire what? During the entire diagonal pattern. Because if the patient has a subluxation and I don't hold it back in and it hurts the patient, I'm just hurting more, right? It doesn't make sense. So, yes, we use two hands on PNF, right? But if the patient has a shoulder subluxation, I can't just keep doing this if every time I do it, it hurts the patient. So what I'll do is I'll take my hand and hold that humerus in, and then with the other hand, we will do the what? The diagonal pattern. And what I have found is patients can do, even if they're kind of flaccid, patients usually can do the D1 extension before they can do any of the D2s, by the way. For some reason, why? Right? Because this is what? D2 flexion. This is what? D2 extension. Okay? So, another thing you can do if the patient is flaccid is sometimes you have to be careful because, right, go ahead and, Megan, we're going to come up in this direction. Ready? Go. Up. Right? Go, 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 go. Make a fist. Good. Sometimes when you do this, right, if they have flexor tone, then this can make their flexor tone work worse in the hand. However, what I have found is you can work extension. Go. Push out. Go, go, go. Push out, push out, push out, push out. You can work the extension and now go. Up, up, Megan. No, to you. Touch your ear. Go. Make a fist. Come on, go, 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 go. So now you're working reciprocal motion. Push out. So now I'm working extension, extension, extension. Go. Push out. In, flexion, 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 flexion. Go. Extension. Go. Push, 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 push. Okay? So you can begin to work reciprocal motion. And you might say, well, this is part of the synergy. Is that a bad thing? Sometimes it can, but once you get them doing reciprocal motion, usually you don't see, because remember, in supine, it's slanted towards extension. So usually now you're getting reciprocal motion going in the limb. Does that make sense? Once you get D1, this has been my experience, then the patient can transition to what? The D2. And they could always do, okay, Megan, you're coming this way. They can always do this one real easy. Go. Mm-hmm. They can always do this one much easier than they can what? Come up. Then D2 extension. That's harder for them. That's the last thing I see that they can do. Does that make sense? Another thing that you want to do with these patients is to go supine sideline for me. Is remember, right? These patients are stuck. Shoulder subluxation, they're stuck in what? Shoulder subluxation, they're stuck in what? Down rotation. So what I can do is I put my hand on her elbow, I put my hand here, and I reduce the what? The subluxation. And I'm moving as a unit here. So I want that patient, the patient is stuck down here. So I'm going to say, okay, Megan, just move with me. So we're going to do range of motion. Once that patient has that, because this is what? Upward rotation, retraction, what? protraction, down rotation. Now I'm going to give her resistance up. Up, 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 up. Good, relax. Good, again. Up, 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 up. So, you can work you can work your stroke patient's scapula in the side-lying position, especially if that scapula is downwardly rotated. What you do is you have to reduce the subluxation. Does that make sense? As long as you reduce it and hold it there, it's not going to bother them anymore. It becomes a non-issue for them. Okay? So it depends on the patient. Sometimes I'll do scapula first, and then I do the arm diagonal. That makes sense to me, especially if you're going above 90. If you're below 90, then maybe you don't have to do it in that order. But I have found that once you get the shoulder going, the elbow and hand work much better. So what I would recommend is do scapula pattern first, and then transition to arm pattern. Sometimes I do NDT and PNF. So if they're real tight, I'll do NDT, get their hand, we'll do weight bearing, we'll do some trunk work, then I'll lay them supine, and we'll get them working against we'll work that D2 extension. And then we'll end up with some mirror therapy. So I'm mixing NDT, PNF, neuroscience, I'm mixing all that stuff together. Okay? Does that make sense? So that what we'll go next week is we'll go over how to do the upper. Now you can use this for ortho too. The scapular pattern for ortho is fantastic. You have patients with a humerus fracture, an elbow fracture, you can work on the scapula from day one, as long as it's not fractured or problematic. But next week we'll do the arm diagonal and the scapular diagonals. Okay? And I think once you do that with the mirror therapy and some other things we talk about in lecture, I think you guys will have a pretty good idea, hopefully pretty confident in treating your CVA and other neurological patients. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, you can do ortho patient, neuro patient. It's pretty, you can use the NDT with the ortho too, and PNF with the ortho too. There's really not a big difference. Yes.
Can you do that, the diagonal, working in the diagonal when they have a flexor solution, like on that arm?
Absolutely.
So even if it's stuff like this, you can just move the shoulder?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a patient, and after a little while, after a few sessions, her arm did come out, and then I made sure it was like this when I did it. But you're right, sometimes the patient tends to pull because they're trying to use their synergy to come up. So sometimes what I'll do, that's a great question. I didn't even think about it, just do it. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll hold the hand here, and then I'll just do one hand with resistance. So I'll pull her down, come up. Up, 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 up. Good, down. Up, up, up. So by doing this and stabilizing here, I make sure that her arm doesn't go into that. Sometimes I'll try to do a little weight bearing too into the arm. So I'm gonna try to weight bear into her wrist and push up at the same time. That's not PNF. That's just my own. No, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If every time lift your shoulder back, now pull your elbow in too, right? If every time she's doing this, right? She's just doing what? Up, up, up. She's just doing synergy, right? So I don't want that. So I'm going to bring the hand here, right? And now I'm going to weight bear on that elbow, and now come up. And now I'm weight bearing to her elbow. She can't go into the synergy. So now it's all isolated scapular movement. Okay? So you have to watch for these patients and do that. But just because they have shoulder sublux or they have pain or a little thing, you just modify it a little bit to get what you need. That's not PNF. That's just my own take on that. I don't know if PNF would agree with me that I'm giving pressure on your elbow, but their books don't show me a better way to do it. Otherwise, I would do it the way they show me. So, okay? So we'll review that for next week. We'll be ready. Okay?